Hey everybody, it's Becky. I'm back today with another recap and goals video. So this is the June recap and the July goals video. So I really don't feel that I got a whole lot accomplished in June just because I am still working on reorganizing my laundry room. And so it's kind of embarrassing to say that it's July and I still haven't finished, but you know, it's kind of like when I redid the kitchen. There's so many working and moving parts that it really does take a lot of thought. First of all, it takes a lot of time to clean up. Especially in the laundry room, you've got, you know, lint and stuff that builds up, but also it had to be painted. All the trim had to be painted, the doors had to be painted, and then it had never really had any kind of an organizational system in place. And so I had to take some time to really figure out what kind of systems that I wanted to try, and I was using Pinterest kind of as an inspiration. But again, a lot of the stuff that I saw wouldn't have worked just because my laundry room is so small and one whole wall of that room is the door, you know, the door section. So you really are very limited to what you can do. And even if you think about using back of the door storage, they're two like mini doors. They're like the little small doors that kind of come together like a French door style, but they're solid. But you know, most of the back of the door organizers are built for a larger full-size single door, and so that stuff wouldn't have worked. I guess Alpha probably would have worked from the Container Store, but it's a lot more money than I wanted to spend. And then with the doors being so small, when you would pull them together, like some of the bins that would be hanging would like keep the other door from shutting. So it took a lot of time to figure out really what I wanted to keep in the space and how I was going to organize it once I figured out what really belonged in there. And so I'll have a separate video about that probably towards the end of July, showing you the before, kind of the middle of the road process of how I plan out any space that I'm going to organize, and then the after. So I'm really excited. It's really close to being done. We actually have some stuff today that we're going to be hanging up later, and I have a couple surprises that I was really excited to find, so I'm anxious to share that video with you. But that really was the bulk of what I spent my time on, other than just daily tasks and things like that. June was also really exciting because it is my birth month and it's also our wedding anniversary. So for my birthday, I finally got some patio furniture for my back patio. I had gotten an umbrella last year for my birthday and didn't have any patio furniture. So we finally found a set that we like at Lowe's. It was pretty affordable. It has nice cushions. And so I'm really excited to finally, after all of these years of having my own house, I never had patio furniture. So I'm really excited about eating a lot more meals outside when the weather's nice, and to finally have that. And then of course having our wedding anniversary is always exciting, you know, just to commemorate another year of being married. Of course he had to work all day, so we really didn't do anything terribly exciting. When he came home, we just watched a movie and had a snack, kind of like a typical Saturday night would be for us. But you know, it's always nice to stop and take that time to remember the day you were married, so that was fun. And really in June we were just kept busy with, you know, between my birthday and our anniversary, we also had a lot of programs and things we did with the kids. We went to kind of a mini planetarium kind of a situation, went to the kids museum, we went to a lot of programs at the library. They went roller skating, we went to Sky Zone, so we really had a lot of fun social activities that they did either with the church or just together with us as a family. So that was fun. But I just feel like it was a really uneventful month as far as a lot that I got accomplished. So, but you know how it is when you're in the middle of a big project. That really takes up any free time I would have to do something else. I really wanted to focus on finishing or getting close to finishing the laundry room because I have a tendency to be really gung-ho in the beginning and like work. And then when I get towards the end and there's like just a couple things left to do, I get demotivated for some reason, and it takes me longer to finish things than it really should. And so that brings me to my July goals and plans. So hand in hand with the laundry room is to finish the laundry room. I mean, there's no reason why I can think of it shouldn't be finished in July, especially in maybe even the first week. It's really close to being done. And then with being July, the last full month before we start back to homeschooling, which we usually start in the middle of August, just like the public school system does here. So I really want to focus on making sure that the things that are on my girls' bucket list get done, at least a lot of them get done. And if you haven't seen that video of the things that are on our bucket list for this summer, I'll link that down below. We just have quite a few things we really want to work on and get done and have fun and make sure that we're not like so stressed out with projects and daily life that we forget to stop and do those extra fun things. Also really need to go ahead and start purchasing any of the homeschool curriculum that we're going to need going into next school year. We really have most everything we are going to need because, you know, when you're homeschooling, you can work pretty much at your own pace. So my oldest daughter really has a lot of things that she's still working on from last school year. There's really just a couple things, I think maybe even just one thing. She needs another teaching textbooks for grade 7, which she's not quite done with grade 6 yet, so there's no huge hurry, but I at least need to start thinking about it and taking that into like the consideration of the budget. For my youngest daughter, who will be starting kindergarten, at home. I do want to get Matthew C for her, and I already bought Hooked on Phonics, so I'll be doing a homeschool haul probably next month. But really for her, that's all we really need, and we don't really even need it. She could really learn a lot and make do with what we have, but I'm really scared. I don't like math. I'm bad at teaching math. I'm bad at math myself, so I think I like the way that Matthew C seems to be set up because it's very visual, and that's kind of how I am, and that's kind of how my 5-year-old is. So I think it'll be good for me as her teacher and then her as a student, even though we probably could make do with what we have. So that's kind of in the very near horizon to start figuring that out, so that when August comes, I'm not scrambling around at the last minute getting curriculum and stuff like that. Usually for homeschool, before we start a new school year, I will go through each month and plan whatever kind of crafts or activities, or maybe even field trips that we're planning to take in any given month. And it's not like a tried and true, we have to do this month or this month. But a lot of times I try to theme some of the crafts or extra things that we do around any holiday or season that we're in. So like, let's say in September, we usually go to an apple orchard for some kind of a field trip situation. Or in October, we'll do a Halloween craft. Or, you know, is there a certain field trip we want to go on, like a museum that we want to go to in a certain time? Or is there some kind of a field trip we want to take when the weather's still warm? We probably want to go in like August or September. So I really want to start working on that, just the beginning stages. And then also I'm thinking of setting up a separate board on my Pinterest page of those activities that I find on Pinterest that I want to, reference more quickly than looking through my, like, let's say my crafts board. There's like a million things on there. But if I make a separate board of, homeschool curriculum crafts or something like that, and start pinning things to that section that I specifically want to do in this coming school year. So that I kind of want to begin working on. And I also really need to look into some of the various 4-H programs that are available here in our city. I know 4-H, I guess, is pretty much available anywhere as far as I know. We didn't get in on it last year soon enough. By the time we found out about some of the 4-H programs that my girls would have been interested in, it was already almost the end of the school term that they follow, I guess. They're usually done in May, just like public school is. And so there really wasn't any point in joining in April to only go to one more class or meeting. So we waited, but there's quite a few groups. There's a homeschool 4-H group. There's a sewing group my oldest daughter wants to do. She's really interested in doing the dog show part of it. They have like a dog show competition 4-H club for little kids to bring their puppies, their dogs, and they can teach them tricks, and they actually have little dog shows. So my oldest daughter's really excited about doing that. So there's a club also for my youngest daughter. I forgot what it's called, but it's specifically for, I think, 6 years and younger. So I really need to start researching that and going ahead and moving forward so that when August comes, I think they have their first meeting in August or September, that we're ready for that and we don't miss out on it. Especially because we're not going to be doing any kind of a co-op for this next school year. We decided not to go back to the one that we were at, even though it was a good experience in a lot of ways. There was, some issues with leadership and things like that we just decided not to go back to that one. And I just really could not find another one that I really wanted to join. But I felt like if we kept the kids busy in these various programs and in swimming and things like that, that they were still going to get a lot of the things they were loving about co-op with a lot less cost and a lot less headache with leadership issues. So that's kind of my thought process for that. If it turns out that we really still miss the presence of a co-op in their school life, then we can always go back next year and join if we can find another one. It's just, that's the good thing about homeschooling. You try what you think will work. If it doesn't work, you try something else. So that's really nice. My goal this year is really to try to organize the garage. It's really a mess, and we really never wanted to put the money into any kind of big shelving unit system. We have a couple shelves out there, but nothing really like I would love, like you see in the magazines. But there's quite a few things in the garage that really need to not be in there. And so before I go out there, like let's say that my laundry room is finished, then it's time to work on the garage. Well, I know there are some things, there's some space bags of outgrown baby clothes out in the garage that need to be addressed, and they're in the way. They're going to keep me from being able to move things around in the garage that need to be moved to certain places on these shelves because those space bags are there. So I know there's some stuff out there that's outgrown, but I also know there's some stuff out there that my 5-year-old will be able to wear in the fall. And it's not that I'm necessarily thinking about wearing, switching over to fall clothing yet, because I'm not, even though the stores are. We were out yesterday and they've already got a lot of their fall stuff out. But anyway, I really want to start working on the clothes out there in the garage that are too small and that I know neither girl can wear. What I've been doing is taking pictures of everything and then cutting little pieces of the fabric and saving it, and then so maybe one day I can make a blanket or something out of it. But I think it's going to be good to do that before I actually go out and start working on the garage a lot more in detail, because I know those bags are in the way and they're going to keep me from being able to start working on organizing the garage the way that it should be. So I want to start going through those clothes, taking pictures of the things that are too small and cutting those up, and the things that are going to be able to be worn by my 5-year-old in the fall, you know, go ahead and wash those and maybe put those on the shelf in her closet so they're ready. And that also will kind of give me an idea of when August and September come and I really start purchasing things for them to wear for the fall and winter. I'll have a better idea ahead of time of what she really is going to need, versus not doing it now and then waiting until August and September and then either having to go through all that stuff at the last minute or being too lazy to go through it and just go out and buy her all new stuff when I have perfectly good clothes still out in the garage. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. It's a big job. There's quite a few space bags out there and they hold quite a bit. So once you put the air back in them, you realize there's a lot of clothes out there. So I'm not in a huge hurry. I'm not going to say I'm going to get that done in July, but I think in July and August I really should probably get it finished, so that way that I know what I need to get them for fall, and I will have those probably 2 whole shelves of that big storage, like that big shelving unit we have out in the garage. It probably will clear up 2 of those whole shelves, so when I can start actually putting things in the garage that belong in the garage. That was the longest description of what I'm trying to do I think I've ever said. I don't know. I know I ramble, but I hope that makes sense and you know what I'm talking about. And then the last thing I really want to do in July, and I'm actually going to do it, I'm having an Usborne book party. Like, it's an online book party. And if you don't know anything about Usborne, it is a great company that sells really high quality, beautiful fiction and nonfiction children's books. They have some that are activity books, but a lot of their things are reference books, little early readers. They have all the way up to like middle schoolers, I would say, probably, like fiction and nonfiction books. So if you haven't heard of Usborne, you should definitely check out their website. I've got a link down below. One of my subscribers actually is an Usborne representative, and so she contacted me to ask me if I would be interested in looking over some of their books. And I had heard about them from other YouTubers, but I never really had purchased anything just because I thought, well, you know, I've got enough books. But once you look at what they really have, it's not just like everything you've really ever seen. At least for me, it wasn't. And so I was really excited to really get a chance to look at their books and get a couple of them here at home and have the kids look at them and use them. And some of them are reference type books that we're going to be using for years and years to come in our homeschool life. So I was really excited about that. I'm really excited to be hosting an online book party. If you're interested in seeing a review of the books that I have here at home, and then also learning more about how you can participate in the online book party, then just stay tuned. That video should be up probably in the next couple days, and then the party I think will run for about a week. So you can purchase any books through that link. It'll take you to the website where you can purchase the book. They have a lot of different types of books for all different age ranges, and I just think it's really fun, and I've never had an online party before, so this is kind of a new twist on it for me. But I hope you guys are going to stay tuned for that video, because I've been really impressed with not only the quality of the Usborne books, but also the lady that I've been working with, that works for the company that is going to be hosting my party for me. So that is coming up in July as well. So if you're interested, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And thank you for watching this video. Let me know what some of your goals are and your plans for July. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.